Hello, hello, everybody. How's it going? Can you hear me? Yes, okay. I just had to plug my mic in. I was like about to start and nothing was plugged in. Everything was going. The stream was all live and going, but nothing was plugged in. So I think I should be able to hear as well. Let me do a test.
Breaking news as
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm going to call you Alex, by the way, so I don't say, so I don't alert my little, what back there. Good to see you. Happy you can make this one, Alex. Joyce, hello. Fresh coffee in your mulling mug. Very nice. I have some green juice in my mulling mug. I'm not drinking coffee today, but I have some just pre-made green juice. Hello, everyone. Sanan, hello. French Laundry, vaguely agnostic. Hello, Nella. ¿Cómo estás? Hello. Monica. Peace for peace. Hello. Oracle, how's it going? Let's see who else was chatting up there. Cheryl. I saw you got your mug, by the way, Cheryl. Very nice. I like the white. I need to get a white one. Holly Churchman. Hello. Nella. Sandy. Teresa, good afternoon. Lana, watching from Vancouver Island. Oh, nice. I was just in, where was I? French Beach Provincial Park on Vancouver Island back in, that was like September. So that's amazing. I was just out in Vancouver for Christmas, but we didn't go to the island. But thank you for joining. E. Anders, I'm glad you're covering this story. By the way, very proud of you, enjoying your broadcast. Thanks so much. So I'm going to quickly put up the first poll while we're chatting with people that are joining. It's for the people. Well, these polls are really just so I can get an idea of where people are at with certain cases. I'm just very curious if you've listened to any of the Chandler Halderson trial as of right now. So, as you're coming in, thanks for tapping that like button, by the way. 33 of you have hit that like button already. Also, if you don't mind clicking on the poll, letting me know if you have watched any of the trial. Today, we are going to be going through the hour-long, and look, if you can't be here for the whole thing, that's fine. I know it's Friday afternoon, but we're going to be watching the hour-long opening statement by William Brown of the prosecution team. So it's pretty wild. If you've seen this already, maybe this isn't the stream for you because, it's a lot to take in, for one. But two, it's lengthy. And we're going to be pausing throughout as well. So we're not just completely ripping the whole video. We're going to kind of be reacting to it. I'm going to be seeing what you guys are saying, because if you haven't seen the opening statement video, it's a wild one. So we're going to have to pause, and there's going to be some moments in the chat where I'm sure people are going to be going a little bit crazy. There's going to be a lot of these in the chat. You see me down there? You see one of these? There's going to be a lot of those. So as we're waiting, we're 4 minutes into the stream. As we're waiting for people to join, I'm going to just be in the chat with people. We'll start here in a couple of minutes. Before we get started, though, I'm going to quickly play this little video. An Amber Alert was issued for a boy in Tellico Plains. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but let's go ahead and play this real quick.
An Amber Alert has been issued for a missing Tellico Plains boy. This is Elijah Kinzinger. According to the TBI, Elijah went to play in a wooded area near his home, which is near New Highway 68, and he has not been seen since. We are told that he is 4 feet tall and weighs 55 pounds. He was last seen wearing jeans, a gray hooded jacket, and orange and black sneakers. Anyone with information is asked to call 1-800-TBI.
So, if you overheard there, Panda, what's up? Monica, how's it going? Why? Why an ad? TBI was mentioned there. Now, I can't go without mentioning that this little boy went missing an hour or 2 hours and 34 minutes away from Summer Wells, where Summer Wells went missing. So I know, people go missing all over the place. However, we've got the Texas Bureau of Investigation on another case. Oh, Joyce says he was found. Linda, he was found. This is great. Really? Okay, cool. I literally just saw this video as I was pulling up the stream today, and I was like, well, I can't not mention this kid that's just right here on my homepage. Wow. Okay, so he was found. That's wonderful. Okay. Oh, found safe in Monroe County after Amber Alert issued last night. Wonderful. Okay, that's good. That's good. Yes, he was found. He was found. Okay, I figured I'd mention that at least at the beginning of the stream, but that's even better news to know that he was found safe. Well, I think safe. Also, Sandy, thank you for joining the Level 1 supporter crew. You are awesome. Thanks so much. In some woods. Okay, so, yep, he was found in some woods near home. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Joyce. Sandy, thank you so much. Really appreciate the support on the channel. You can now use the emojis. So that's a wonderful thing to be able to use now in the chat if you so choose. Thanks, Sandy. Panda B, what happened to him? Did he just get lost? I'm not sure. Teleco Plains, a boy missing from East Tennessee went missing on Thursday night, was located Friday morning. That's such a quick turnaround. 6-year-old Elijah was playing in the woods near his home when he went missing. We think he's gone in the woods. He got turned around, possibly injured himself, and couldn't find his way back. Okay, so it kind of sounds like the case of just getting injured and lost, not finding your way back. Really wish that was the case for so many of these other stories that we're covering. But anyways, so that's good. That's good news. So now that we're through that, let's get into this. Let's get into this. It sounds like a lot of you, and I know there's only 83 of us in here as of right now, but it sounds like a lot of you have listened to some of the Chandler Halderson, or at the very least, half of the 62 people that have voted. So for the rest of you who haven't, this is going to maybe be new. We're going to go through the prosecution video. Cheryl says, can you touch on your prior video of this live? My prior video. Yeah, so I'm going to go through. I kind of made a video over the different locations that have to do with this case. I actually have those maps pulled up still. So as we're going through this prosecution, the opening statement, I'm going to maybe pause and show some of these locations. So, yeah, we'll definitely pause. We're going to pause quite a bit during this, so I got to get started. Femme Fatale. Hey, y'all. Sorry I was in Gisla's member-only stream to celebrate Daniel Robinson's birthday today. Oh, that's nice. Well, thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Oh, Alex says that I love the prosecutor. I could listen to him all day. Okay, so you've seen this already. Okay. That's okay. So for the people who have seen the opening statement, I apologize. This is for the people who want me to cover this story more. I figured what better way, there's no better way really to kind of get started with all of this than just to lay everything out, because he lays everything out so well in this opening statement. So let's get started.
Statements are not evidence. Attorney Brown.
Thank you. Could I have the screen turned on, Judge? On the left HDMI? While he's doing that, I'll promise you he'll give you a copy of that, by the way. You don't have to remember all of those instructions. My name is William Brown. I'm the Deputy District Attorney of Dane County. Yesterday you met Andrea Raymond. Together we're the prosecutors of the case. You heard a little bit about how the process worked in jury selection, and you probably thought you were being strung along the whole time, and in a bit you were. Everyone was trying to gauge your knowledge of the case, maybe any preconceived notions you had about the criminal justice system. Ms. Vera asked you a lot of questions about what you would think if she did nothing and sat there, and those were good questions. I won't do nothing in this case because it would be a very short trial if I did. You're going to hear from me, Ms. Raymond.
Hi, I'm Dan Abrams.
Our job in a case is to present evidence. That means to call witnesses. The judge talked about what evidence is. When we think of evidence, sometimes we think of, especially a murder case. You're in a murder case. You think of the gun. And you'll get that. There'll be a gun. You'll see that. But evidence is so much more. The first thing evidence is the first thing the judge mentioned. Evidence is first the sworn testimony of witnesses, both on direct and cross-examination. When people raise their right hand and they swear to tell the truth, that's evidence. Now, you as jurors can decide whether you believe it or not. Does this person have any bias or prejudice? Do they have anything to gain by what they're saying? Do they have anything to lose? All those things are up to you. But sworn testimony is evidence. Photographs are evidence. Videos are evidence. Statements made by people involved in the case, including Mr. Halderson, are evidence. Our job is to, over the course of the next couple of weeks, present evidence to show you the path of what we believe happened, which is that Chandler Halderson killed his parents, dismembered their bodies, and hid them around southern Wisconsin.
Yikes.
I've been talking about Bart and Krista Halderson. You've heard their names mentioned numerous times by the judges here. That's Bart and Krista Halderson. I'm going to try to use some photos as I talk to maybe guide us along. Some people are more visual learners, some aren't. That's Bart and Krista Halderson, a couple in their early 50s, living in Windsor, Wisconsin, on a quiet street, in a quiet house, kind of in a quiet town. If you don't know Windsor, think just south of DeForest, or maybe if you're heading up toward the Dells, when you see the Fleet Farm on your left, if you looked right, that's Windsor. That's the Halderson home. At this point, perhaps it would be best if I told you a little bit about the Halderson family. Bart, the father, Krista, the mother. They have two sons, Chandler, the defendant, and his older brother, Mitchell. Chandler and Mitchell are close in age, but Mitchell's a little bit older. The time this all happened, living in the Halderson home, was Bart Halderson, Krista Halderson, and Chandler. Mitchell had moved out. Mitchell had a job working as an IT person for a local corporation, doing pretty well in life. He's engaged, doing pretty well in life. Buying a house, adult things, growing up. But in July of 2021, it's Bart and Krista living in that house, and their adult 23-year-old son, Chandler Halderson, living in his room. Now, all of the events I'm going to describe, for the most part, take place during the first week of July, from the 1st to about the 8th. So I put up a calendar. This is not evidence in the case, I suppose. It might be. Maybe I'll mark it as an exhibit. But it's to provide some reference, and I put the little flag on there, because if you remember this year, the 4th of July was on a Sunday. Everyone celebrated, of course, all weekend. A lot of places celebrated on Saturday, but the 4th of July was on a Sunday.
Okay, so we're going to pause there for a moment because he's kind of introduced our characters that we need to be thinking of, or that he's going to be referencing throughout kind of the majority of all of this. Also, RS, welcome to the Level 2 supporter. RS, thank you for joining. Thank you for becoming a Level 2 supporter. Really appreciate that. You will be able to join the members-only live streams that we're going to be doing once a month. We're going to do those towards the end of the month. So thank you so much for joining that. I've been watching Aaron's videos lately, but never had a chance to see his streams, I guess due to the time difference. Oh, very cool. Well, glad you're in here, RS. Appreciate it. Also, Jennifer was saying that she likes Femme Fatale says that you like his cadence and tone. I completely agree. I saw that comment go by. Also, Jennifer was doing one of these. But we've got Chandler Halderson living with Bart and his mother, Krista Halderson, okay? And he's 23. Mitchell, his older brother, is engaged and has a job, lives with his fiance outside of the house. So they do not live with the Haldersons, with the parents. And this time frame that they're talking about is just over 6 months ago in July. So this is a pretty recent pretty recent case. Obviously these things get drawn out over the course of many months sometimes, but this is happening pretty quickly after the fact. Also, Allison, I'm not sure whether you're watching on mobile or watching on like a PC or a computer, but there should be a little join button down below. Please do not feel obligated to join, but that really is appreciated. I'm working on a self-produced documentary this year, and all of the funds, or at least most of them, are going to help fund that. So thank you guys so much for the support. All right, back to it, because we got to get through this. I'm going to stop like every 5-10 minutes maybe.
Now I'm giving my opening statement. The judge told you opening statements aren't evidence. And in fact, that's the reason you don't have notebooks. I'd like to think so, you have to pay attention to me, but that's not true. It's because nothing I say is evidence. So as I say things up here, what I'm saying is what I expect to prove in the next couple of weeks. But what I expect to prove beyond any reasonable doubt is that on July 1st, 2021, somewhere between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m., Chandler Halderson murdered his parents. It's an important date, and it's an important time to remember. July 1st, between 3 and 5. But the story doesn't start there. And this trial wouldn't be 3 to 4 weeks if the trial ended there. The story starts a week later, on July 7th, 2021. Nearly a week after killing his parents, but no one in the world knowing. Chandler Halderson walks into the Northeast Precinct of the Dane County Sheriff's Office and says, "I'd like to file a missing persons report." He sits down with sheriff's deputies, and you'll meet them today, and he gives a long story. My parents, they just haven't come back from the cabin. They were there this weekend. We have a cabin up north. It's in White Lake, up in Langlade County. It's pretty far up north, a couple of hours. They just haven't come back yet. They were going to come back Monday or Tuesday, and I don't know where they are. Who were they with? The deputies ask. I don't know. I helped them pack Thursday night. They must have left Friday early before I woke up at 6. Who'd they go with? I don't know. Where are their cars? Well, they're still at the house. What'd you help them pack? Bottles of liquor, lots of money, tools, silver bars. Why were they going up there? Some people they were fixing a window. Some people there was a plumbing issue, storm damage. The story varied. Sometimes they took just money. Sometimes they took just liquor. But over that day and the next, talking to numerous sheriff's deputies, detectives, including those detectives, he gives this bizarre story of his parents leaving in an unknown car, going to a cabin with an unknown couple, with an unknown amount of money, for really an unknown reason. So sheriff's deputies do what cops do, which is they ask him, "Have you heard from him?" And he says, "Yeah. I got a text from my mom." And he did. He showed him his phone. Made it safely. This is from Krista Halderson to Chaz. That's what his family calls him. Not Chandler, they call him Chaz. Made it safely. Can't get anything through, though. Yes, it's packed. Going to White Lake today for the parade. We'll be home Monday night, Tuesday early. I love you lots. So at this point, the sheriff's deputies don't know what they're dealing with. These folks get up there and decide, we're going to go to the casino for a few days. We're going to play hooky. Didn't make a lot of sense. They started talking to coworkers and realized these people had never no-called, no-showed, missed work, which they both did on Friday. Did they crash their car? Did this other couple kidnap them? Where the hell are they? But what good police do, and what they did in this case, is they start looking into the people who saw them last, who were with them last, who reported them missing. And in this case, all three of those things, the person who purportedly saw them last, was with them last, and reported them missing were the same person. It was Chandler Halderson. So what the police did started to look into Chandler Halderson. This is all occurring in the same 24-hour, 48-hour period. And what they learn about him isn't suspicious at all. He's a Madison College student, MATC. They go by Madison College now, if you didn't get the email. Madison College student. He's about to graduate. He's studying renewable resource engineering, kind of a hybrid IT degree with solar panels, things of that sort. He's about to get a certificate. But things had looked bright for him. He'd recently been working at American Family Insurance. He's working from home like most of us the last couple of years. But he's working a good job at American Family Insurance. And not only was he working a good job, Chandler had just gotten a better job. He got hired at SpaceX. He was about to embark on a career that people in the IT field could only dream of. He's planning to move to Titusville, Florida. That's where SpaceX operation is, down in Florida, with his girlfriend. They'd rented an apartment. They'd bought a car. And not only was this not someone who was antisocial, he was pro-social. He was working with the Madison Police and the Department of Natural Resources on their rescue diving team. He was a scuba diver.
Okay, so pause real quick. Like I said, I'm pausing every few minutes. We can't just like watch the entirety of the video. I know that there are some people in here, and I'm seeing some of the comments roll by of people. Alex, I know, said, and someone mentioned watching every minute of this situation or of this trial. I'm sure you've seen this then. Cindy mentioning that. I'm glad there are people in here because I think, who was it? Alex said something about just wait, keep in mind what he's saying right now. So I like that there's some people in the chat that have seen this. So thanks for sticking around to for the people who have seen it. I know you're repeating some of this stuff. But also I want to mention, Allison, thank you so much for becoming a member. You must have found the button. So thank you so much. Also to Raindrops for being here. I see that you are here now. Also, these emojis are me. So I think Shay, who just mentioned that the emojis look like me. Shay? Yes, these emojis are me. I had these emojis made. So if I pull one of these up, I'll pull it up in a little bit. But, oh yeah, here's one. That is me, everyone. That is 100% me right there. So that's one of the emojis. Anyways, thanks so much, Allison, for becoming a member. I also saw Fem mentioning that she thinks that they think that Chandler was after the life insurance policy. That's another interesting thing. I feel like you are completely right there. And we'll get to it, but he completely lost it. Let's keep listening. Oh, hey, Sandy, how's it going? Oh, wait, Sandy's been here. Never mind. Sorry. I saw you right next to Raindrops. Thank you, everyone, especially Alicia, for helping me figure out how to join. Love my new green name. Thank you. Yes, Alicia is very, very helpful. Thank you, Alicia. Okay, once again, we're going to be bouncing back and forth. We have to pause every 5 or so minutes. But keep in mind, he just mentioned all these things that Chandler is involved in. He's going to college. He's got a good job. He even just got a job with SpaceX, which is really that's a big deal. Remember all this. Let's keep it rolling.
Working with the police.
He's a diver working with the police.
The only thing that was a bit odd is he'd recently suffered a head injury. Fallen down the stairs. Had terrible concussion. Was unable to move for the most part. Had to wear a neck brace. He was permanently, perhaps, injured. All of those things threw police off from thinking it was Chandler. He had anything to do with this. And at that point, for all they knew, as sad as it is, Bart and Krista and an unknown couple were crashed into a ditch somewhere between here and White Lake, Wisconsin, dead from a car crash. So they started looking. Deputies are sent up north. The Langlade County Sheriff's Department is searching a cabin. No one had ever been there. It didn't look like anyone had been there at all in years. It was run down. The grass hadn't been mowed. There was no food in the refrigerator. No one had been there. So the police expand their search, and they start talking to not only just Chandler, people about Chandler. They start talking to people who were with Chandler that weekend. Specifically, they talked to his girlfriend, a young girl named Catherine. She goes by Kat. And Kat says, I was with him like all weekend. We had a normal 4th of July weekend. We went out to my family's farm. We got a farm. There was a pool. We ate dinner. Chandler was having the concussion issue and he couldn't really move his legs. And so he asked to use their pool the next day because he thought that was good therapy. So the police, what do they do next? They go talk to the person who owns the farm. And they say, was Chandler out here? And she goes, yeah, he was out here on the 4th of July. But you know what? He showed up the next day by himself. He showed up the next day by himself. I told him he could come back anytime, as we just say to people, not expecting they're gonna roll into your house the next day. She says he was acting bizarre. Said that he had a doctor's appointment and they'd given him some bad news that he was gonna lose his job at SpaceX because he couldn't travel, he couldn't attend to orientation to start. And she goes, he asked to use the pool. And of course I said yes. This woman will testify and she'll tell you that she sat in her house for a while, perhaps a bit weirded out that someone had just shown up at her rural farm, but she let him have his space. But about an hour later, she goes down to the pool to check on him. He's not there. No one had opened the pool. No one had been in the pool. But she sees his car. It's parked out in the field, away from the pool, backed in toward where that grass is a bit longer, and had its hatch up. She thought, boy, that was strange. But she thought maybe he's just on a walk. So she goes in the pool. She said, I'm just gonna go in the pool. If you remember that weekend, it's extraordinarily hot. She starts swimming. She says, then I see Chandler. He's walking out of the woods in that area. Now, at this point in the investigation, the police are out there with this woman. They're out on the farm, and she says he walked out over there. And you'll hear from the Detective Brett Baverstock, who was out there. And he'll tell you that his eyes kind of shifted up, and he saw vultures. And I promise the photos are only gonna go this far for right now. But the police walked about 20 yards into the woods, and in that pile of debris, under dozens of sticks, bushes, and dirt, they found Bart Halderson. Now, when I say they found Bart Halderson, I need to explain that. They found a human torso. Someone had crudely chopped off the head, the arms, and sawed off the legs in the middle of the thigh, leaving the underwear on.
Okay. I think what I probably should have done before this, and I see some other YouTubers that have been doing this, is putting disclaimers at the beginning of their videos that maybe have more sensitive subject matter. Here's the disclaimer. Though they don't show anything in this particular opening statement, the subject matter is obviously very horrendous and just, it's awful. So if any of that is triggering to you, it only kind of gets worse, but they don't show anything. I obviously wouldn't be able to show anything on my YouTube channel. That'd get taken down. But little disclaimer, it's a wild story. So I'm going to pause there. We're going to keep chatting. I want to say thanks to Joyce for becoming a level 2 supporter. Thank you so much, Joyce. Really, really appreciate it. You guys have, so many people have supported this channel for so long. And then for them to jump on and continue even more, I really appreciate that. Fem, the chatbots are everywhere. These chatbots, are they chatbots? Raindrops, welcome to the best community for Aaron's videos. Thank you so much, Raindrops. Also, someone mentioned, I should also mention that this has been paused. So they paused the trial for Chandler Halderson. He has COVID right now. So I think they're going to maybe be picking up, I don't know exactly when. Someone said something maybe like the 18th or 19th. I think it'll be a little bit longer potentially. But it gave me a chance to realize, to catch up on all these videos and watch all the different witness testimonies. And once again, that's why I'm doing this video. So many people want me to cover this case, and I figured what better place to start than the opening statement. It is a wild one. Angela Bloom in the chat becoming a tier 2 member, tier 2 supporter. Thank you, Angela. Oh my gosh, there's so many green people in the chat right now. Thank you so much. Panda B says, I can't imagine hurting my parents to begin with, but then cutting them up and the other stuff is just horrible, all because he wanted to be lazy. It's weird how some people are like this. It's wild. But anyways, Angela, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here and continuing to support the channel. You're amazing. Thank you, Angela. Glad to have all of you here. Alexa says, really, Fem, you saw the pics? I did criminology and loved all that stuff. When I say, quote, love, not in the sick way. Yes, so I will say, I think the live stream actually did show the pictures and they weren't blurred out on one of the days. Not this particular day, but when they were showing some other photos. So that's interesting. I know they blurred it after the fact for YouTube, but that little pistache better. I don't know if that was a typo there, but yeah, he better make it through COVID. I hope he suffers, but he better not die. No, he will be fine. They will make sure he is fine. They've got medicine there in the jail they'll give him. I wanted to be green too. Yeah, so okay, anyways, that's our pausing moment. I'm going to show the property real quick that they are referring to. I believe this is the property that they're referring to. I don't know if this is the pool, but this is a pool on this particular property that Chandler, actually, and those look like those drums now that yeah, here's those drums, those steel drums that they were referring to as well. So it wouldn't be a mulling over maps stream if we didn't mull over a few maps. But if I zoom out entirely, just to show where this is at in the great state of Wisconsin, it's south central Wisconsin, just west of Milwaukee. So anyways, let's continue with the opening statement. We'll pause here in a moment. I'm really enjoying seeing your guys' comments go by. I will be in the chat chatting with you guys as we're watching this. So thank you. Also, loving the emojis. Amazing.
In the beginnings of the pants. They removed the sticks and brush over a course of a few hours. They brought out doctors from the medical examiner's office to make sure everything was done appropriately. They rolled the torso over. There were gunshots in the back. This man had been shot in the back and chopped up. At this point, the farm, beautiful farm, cultivated for years with wildflowers, kind of an Eden of sorts, was turned into a crime scene. Police swarmed the place. Drones were in the air, cadavers, dogs were on the ground. Everyone's looking through absolutely everything they could, but it's a farm. There's a million places things could be. But one detective said, look at that in the woods. Is that a garbage can full of a tarp? It was. And I'll tell you that tarp was taken to the Wisconsin State Crime Lab eventually. Bart Halderson, Krista Halderson, their blood is all over it. Another detective said, that spot where Chandler was walking out of the woods, there's an oil barrel there, like an old fuel tank with a hole in it. That's right where the car was parked. So she peeks her head in.
Ads. Okay, I'm gonna mute this while the anticipation. That was the oil drum that I was referring to in that clip or that map there a moment ago. Okay, sorry, the anticipation.
And that's what she sees. Broken saw blades, hand saws, scissors, tree loppers, all of them tested by the state crime lab, all of them covered in human flesh and blood of Bart and Krista Halderson. The farm was searched extensively, and I'll tell you that some months later, things were even continuing to be found. Up to this fall, in October, the homeowner, the person who owns the farm, was tearing apart a barn trying to clean it. And there in a barn about 100 yards from where Bart Halderson was found, the murder weapon, behind a bunch of boards on the side of the barn. At this point in the investigation, the police knew they needed to start talking to Chandler. He's seen coming out of the location where his dad's body was, just brutally chopped apart. The tools, the cutting instruments are found there. So they do what police do. They bring him downtown. But they ask him, and he's at the house, and they ask him and his girlfriend to come downtown with them. And they do. And that girlfriend, Kat, is in one room, and Chandler is in another. Chandler, and you'll see this, we'll play it, for over an hour meets with police, and again regurgitates this odd story of his parents with this missing couple in a random car, going places that no one really knew. Or Kat, in the other room, she's vomiting information to the police. Literally vomiting at times, but also vomiting information in terms of she has her phone out. She's giving them pictures. She's providing every single detail she can because she'll tell you when she testifies. She's one of these people that watches these crime shows. And she knows when someone's missing, you got to exclude the people closest to him first. And she thought, that's what we got to do. Chandler didn't have anything to do with this. I didn't have anything to do with this. We got to get to the people who did. And the first step is we got to exclude us. She didn't for a second think that Mr. Halderson had done anything wrong. She thought she was with him most of the weekend. And I'll tell you right now, Kat did nothing wrong. Kat was an unknowing, unwilling accomplice to some of this, but she did absolutely nothing wrong. And she'll tell you, she liked Mr. and Mrs. Halderson. There were the normal disputes you'd have with your boyfriend or girlfriend's parents. Maybe you want to go out a lot and they don't let you. Maybe you want to hang out more than they don't want to. But she liked him. Her phone is full of messages between her and Mrs. Halderson, friendly in all respects. Kat meets with police not just once, but multiple times. And in one of these meetings, she says, you know what was weird? Is this weekend, when I was with Chandler, while his parents were at the cabin, I left the house early one day, on Saturday, in fact, Saturday, July 3rd. And she says, he told me he was going to do chores that morning around the house. But when I looked at my Snapchat, I saw his location was in a weird spot. If you don't know, on Snapchat, you can set it up so that other people can see exactly where you are. A GPS tracker on you at all times, if you will. Chandler had that set up with his girlfriend. And she goes, it was so weird where he was. I took a screenshot of it on my phone. And that's what it showed. Chandler was saved as hubby in her phone. That's perhaps a term of endearment between two folks dating in their 20s. But she said, at 8:58 in the morning, when he was supposed to be doing chores on Saturday, July 3rd, I thought it was strange that he was in what appears to be a forest on the banks of the Wisconsin River near Prairie du Sac. The police took that. They identified immediately where that location was, just based on looking at it. That's a bridge. Couldn't be hard. Out they go. The drones go up, the dogs go out, the search team starts searching. Very quickly, and I promise this is as far as the photos will go, they find the remains of Krista Halderson. Now, when I say Krista Halderson, I have to qualify that as well. We found her legs. One complete leg, then somewhat farther away in another bush, a foot, a thigh, but the same pattern.
My gosh.
Crudely cut apart with appears to be handsaws, axes, things of that sort. No more of Krista Halderson that's identifiable to her will ever be found. She's just those two legs.
My God. Jesus. We're going to pause. Yeah, so I know that I ended that poll, and a lot of you have, it seems, been involved in this case, been watching everything you could possibly watch. So once again, apologies to the people joining who may have already seen this. To the 40-something% of you that have not, is this not just the craziest thing ever? I mean, you've got two people that basically pinpoint Chandler in each of the locations that the remains were found. How is there going to be any sort of a defense for Chandler to try to prove him innocent? And we'll go into that at the end of this, but Raindrops, so sorry, you were going to make yourself lunch. Oh my gosh. To anyone who is, you may need to click away. Like I said, though, the story doesn't get any more really graphic than that visually, because they don't show anything. This is incredibly disturbing. And if you're just thinking now this is the craziest thing I've ever heard, it gets crazier. I know Alex is in the chat giving little teasers to what is coming up, or some of the little different things with the story. And that's completely fine. I mean, you guys can chat amongst each other. I know a lot of you have already kind of dove into this. It gets crazier. Aline, I had not seen this video. Oh, nice. Yeah, I know some of you haven't. So Christine says, new here. I'm not squeamish. That's crazy. Never knew about this case. Well, you are in for a ride, Christine, because we're a quarter of the way through, basically, or almost a third of the way through this testimony, or this opening statement. And like I said, it gets even crazier. Paula, hi from Ireland. Hello. Happy to have you here. Jennifer, good to see you. I think you joined already. You were here much earlier, Jennifer. But Jennifer is dropping some WTFs in the chat. Allison says, "Holy crap!" Peace, given the emojis. Yeah. Fatboy Toodles says, "What was the motive?" We'll talk about motive at the end. I have my thoughts about it, but we'll talk about it at the end. Cheryl says, "This guy is sick." Yeah. Absolutely. Disturbing. Monica says, I haven't been following this case. This is insane. I want to see what the defense says. You know what? Depending on what time it is, we're 42 minutes into the stream. We're only 20 minutes into the actual video. But depending on how long we've been going, we may just do the defense's opening statement after. Or we'll just kind of talk about it. I'll tell you, though, Monica, spoiler alert, it's not that great. They don't have much to say that's of substance. Erica, thank you so much for becoming a level 2 supporter on the channel. You rock. You're amazing. Guys, the support for the channel has just been the whole memberships thing. I didn't know if I was going to do this, and the support has been overwhelming. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to be doing a poll for some people that are supporters about when we want to do the members only live stream at the end of each month. I'll try to get a date and a time that works kind of best for everyone. So hopefully most people can join that. But thank you so much, Erica. You rock. Let's see. It's nice to be able to chat with a smaller chat room about this case. Yeah, it's actually kind of nice. There's a couple hundred people in here. It's nice to see everyone kind of chatting amongst each other. And yeah, it's been good. And even seeing this the second time, it's nice having you guys here reacting to it with me. So definitely hit that like button. We're almost at 200 people in the stream. Every like helps push the channel out to more people, helps them find the stream. So hit the like button and let's continue.
At this point, the police thought, this is just a strange location. Why would Chandler be out there? He'd been out there before. And they started talking to people, including girlfriends of his in the past, friends of his. And they say, yeah, Chandler really liked this location out on the Wisconsin River. He'd go there all the time. It's where he'd go swimming. When his friends came into town, that was the secret swimming spot. And one friend even said, you know what? Last year he sent me a picture while he was out there. Kind of shirtless, hanging from a tree with a machete. I don't know. Didn't have a lot of significance at the time when the police saw it, but eventually someone realized the tree looks unique. interesting V pattern right there, the hollowness of the tree as it goes down, the way in which 5 of those branches branch off. And eventually one of the detectives realizes why. Something clicked. It was the exact location he ditched his mother's remains.
Jeez.
That's about 100 feet away. So obviously, it shouldn't come to anyone's surprise, at some point Chandler was arrested. In fact, he was arrested on July 8th, 2021. When you're arrested for a lot of crimes, you go to jail, you get booked in, and not much more happens investigation-wise after that. They have what they need. But of course, that's not the case in a murder investigation, especially something like this. So Chandler is taken to jail, and the police start searching. When I say searching, you're going to hear about searches of the house, searches of this farm, searches of this property. You're going to hear about searches of landfills and ponds and ditches all across Dane County. But one of the things they started searching was, what was this guy doing on his phone that weekend? And oddly enough, most of what they found was nothing. Either Chandler hadn't Googled anything all weekend, except for the 8th, or he had deleted his search history. You'll never know. But remember, he was arrested on July 8th, taken to the police station, and that's where they told him, hey man, we know what's going on. So meaning, while he was still on his phone on July 8th, he was still telling everyone his parents were missing. Not just the police. This kid was standing in his front lawn giving media interviews to all the local media outlets about the cabin and the unknown couple and the unknown car. He was going door to door in his neighborhood. My parents are missing. Can you help me out? Do you have any security cameras, by the way? And you'll hear from these neighbors. Some of them were so weirded out by what was going on that they secretly recorded those conversations. One of them, you'll hear, was a man who'd only been retired as a detective with the City of Madison Police for about a month. He recorded his conversation with Mr. Halderson. But while he's doing this that morning, what's he Googling? This is what he's Googling. Body found, Wisconsin. Woman's body found, Wisconsin. Wisconsin dismembered body found. We'll come back to the next two. Dead body found in Wisconsin. Body found in Milwaukee River. He's searching for whether they found his parents. And you'll hear in this case, he's starting to search because he's starting to get worried, because the amount of police in his neighborhood has been ramping up and up and up, because unbeknownst to him, they're finding his parents' remains. And you'll hear that while this is going on, while he's Googling these things, he's frantically calling police officers. Hey, why are there more cops in my neighborhood? Calls this guy, Brian Shunk. He records him. What's going on? There's more cops. Did something happen? Did you find something? The middle ones, State versus Peter Capuzzo. Probably means nothing to everyone. It meant nothing to me when I first saw it. The name rung a bell, and I wondered why.
Man.
Not only does it show he Googled State versus Peter Capuzzo, it showed that he clicked on a link on the Wisconsin court's website and read something. What he read was a legal case, much like this one is the State versus Chandler Halderson. The State versus Peter Capuzzo, though, was a case that made it to the Court of Appeals based on some legal technicalities about a man who dismembered part of his family members and threw their bodies in the river. So at the same time, Chandler Halderson is going door to door in his neighborhood, crying about his parents being missing, talking to the local news, telling sheriff's deputies, signing documents saying they're missing. He's conducting legal research to get himself out of today, so that today never happens. Now, when I started with that calendar a while ago, and I said the police were initially thrown off because of one thing, and that was this text message from Krista. And it's real. I'll tell you, that text message is in all the search warrant returns from US Cellular. It's on the phone that we were able to search. We're not able to search every phone, but some of them are. Made it safely. Can't get anything through, though. Yes, it's packed. Going to White Lake today for the parade. Be home Monday night, Tuesday. Love you lots. Sent on the 4th of July. So the police started looking into that. And the first thing they found was
an ad from
Health
CVS.
insurance.
An ad from CVS Health. Okay, perfect timing to pause. We'll scrub back, or we'll follow up with what we're gonna be jumping back into in a moment. So, because this was like right before he reveals something that's kind of important. But this entire thing is important. This entire thing is crazy. There's never a dull moment in this opening statement. And some people were asking, I think Cindy said, Aaron, are you planning on going live with the trial once it resumes? For sure. I think it depends. I think maybe we will go live at certain points in the trial. The thing with the trial is that at times they take these breaks, and like if we're live streaming, the live streams may end up being very, very long, and that's not always such a bad thing. If people are going to be kind of watching the live streams anyways, it might be fun to be in here together and to be going through it together, chatting with each other. Oh my gosh, reacting, whatever. So possibly, at the very least, Cindy, I'm probably going to be making separate videos every couple of days with just kind of a recap of my thoughts on the case when it picks back up. So for sure, I'm going to be covering it. I thought, I think I mentioned this at the beginning, but I was considering not covering this story. But then when he got COVID, I was like, well, now I kind of have time to catch up on everything. I've been listening to all of the testimonies, kind of like podcasts, essentially. I've just been listening to them as I'm doing things throughout my day. Christine says, not a bright kid, so much evidence. Yeah, this is wild. But yes, to answer your question, I'll probably be covering this. This case it's just too crazy not to cover. And this case has it's horrific. It has such a different feel than covering cases of missing children. I said that in my last stream when I was talking about the Kenny Beach stuff. I know a lot of people weren't in that stream that normally come to the streams, but some were. But it's horrific and it's terrible. But for some reason, this has just this kind of thing that we're all drawn to with these stories. Like humans are very drawn to just why, what would bring someone to do this, right? And we don't really have that with the Summer Wells case because we don't know the outcome. That it's still yet to be determined, right? So we can only look at the Summer Wells case from kind of one angle and just kind of think what potentially happened. With this, it scratches that itch in the true crime world of just how does someone go this far off the deep end? And, it's kind of tough to cover still, but it's still interesting nonetheless. So Victoria says, I'm glad you did go over this case. Thank you. And I know a lot of you've, already seen this, but I appreciate you guys watching it with me. Even if he gets life, he will never pay what he did. I agree. Allison says he is pleading not guilty. It doesn't seem like he was trying to hide it at all. Yeah, I don't understand the justice system anyways. So there's reasons why you plead certain things, why you might plead not guilty when it comes to the actual sentencing side of it at the end. This is almost Dahmer style. This is crazy. Yeah, Cotton Farmer. This is a crazy story. He must have been a really spoiled kid. I don't know. I think he was a jealous kid, and I think his brother was doing better in life than he was. And we're not even to the craziest part of the story, so let's get back to it. But this is what the police found right before the ad popped up. But yeah, we'll talk about the speculation or what we think at the end. Joyce says, has anyone found information on him? How was he growing up? School? That could be a good video, Joyce, to just look into who he was prior to all of this. But yeah.
White Lake.
I'll scrub back.
The first thing they found was White Lake. The parade was on July 3rd. Remember, the 4th of July this year was on a Sunday. So everyone celebrated on Saturday. So they started thinking, well, how the hell did this message get sent? So they searched the Halderson home where Chandler was. And in the garage, under a shelf, in a shoe, wrapped in aluminum foil, was his mother's phone, along with her driver's license.
In their house.
Police would later subpoena the records from U.S. Cellular, the cell phone carrier that covers Chandler and the family. and they would look into what cell towers were being used when that message was sent. If you didn't know, all of you probably have cell phones. At any time, your phone is pinging off of different cell towers. It's not always the same. As you sit here, half of you might be using one tower and half of you might be using another. It's based on the workload of those towers. You'll hear about that. But it's generally an approximate area of where you are. That message on July 4th, Krista there is in pink, Chandler's in green. The message was sent from the Halderson home on July 4th.
Wow.
Chandler sent it to himself. So at this point, the investigators began to wonder, and perhaps you're beginning to wonder how the evidence will come out. How does this happen? How does this kid, with everything in the world going for him, promising new jobs, school, a girlfriend that loves him, willing to move across the country for him, or even physically, a kid who just suffered this major concussion, was unable to use his legs for the most part. How does this happen? And what you'll learn, it happens because none of these things are true. He wasn't going to Madison College. He wasn't studying renewable resource engineering. The people at American Family Insurance, they'd never even heard of him. There's no indication he had ever even applied for a job, much less had any job at SpaceX. The apartment he told his girlfriend he'd rented and the car he'd bought, none of that was real. The Madison police, they don't even have a scuba diving team. Neither does the DNR. And this concussion he apparently suffered, he did go to the hospital. You'll hear from the doctor who was there. Said, yeah, he came in, he reported that he hit his head, falling down the stairs. I diagnosed him with a mild concussion. Gave him a neck brace on the way out, told him he could use it if he needed it. But none of the things that Chandler reported to other people, the leg weakness, his inability to move, drive, travel, none of that was real. And given what you're going to find out in this case, you may conclude at the end of it, he never suffered any fall at all. What you may conclude is that it was all made up. Now, police start.
Okay. We're not pausing for very long on this one. What? None of it was real. None of it. Like his entire life, a lie. College, job, future job, injury, really, because the doctor even said, like, he was just diagnosed with a mild concussion. Like, his entire existence, a lie. And you might wonder, how could you get away with that? They go over that a little bit later. True, okay. Like I said, I'm not going to pause for very long. We got to get through this thing. But oh my gosh, he lived a lie.
Started looking into.
Also, what a piece of shit. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't like him. I don't like him.
All of these
I like this
lies.
guy though. This guy's great.
Because how does a person who looks so promising, was able to convince so many people of his success, how are you able to keep this up? How are you able to catfish your family, your girlfriend, your brother, your friends? And they started to find things around the Halderson home in the email accounts of Bart and Krista Halderson, in the email accounts of Chandler Halderson. When they talked about American Family Insurance, the first big lie Chandler was making up, again, the people at American Family Insurance, you'll hear them testify, they're directors of human resources. He never worked there, never worked for any of their affiliates, never worked for any of the companies that are associated with them. Chandler had been claiming to work there for a year, but he never had any money. And his father was an accountant, so his father would ask him questions pretty much daily. Why don't you have any money? Why haven't you paid any rent? And Chandler spun an amazing web of lies. First it was, well, I'm a salary guy, but they were accidentally paying me hourly, so they just held my paychecks until they fixed it. Then it was, well, I gave him the wrong direct deposit info. Then it kind of shifted eventually. And he said, well, they were going to pay me, but now the amount is so much, they got to pay me so much money that when they deposited in the bank, they thought it was fake. And police started to find emails like this This from Tom Selznick, a guy at American Family Insurance, a Northeast remote human resources guy. Describing this, you're registered as salary, but you're making hourly. And these emails would go back and forth with Chandler and the HR person, and eventually he'd forward them to his father. But in the way a parent looks at their child as maybe telling the truth is not the way that you as jurors have to look at this. You, like the police, maybe have to take a more critical look at emails like this. And for one, notice, why is the guy who works at Human Resources at American Family Insurance using a Proton Mail generic email address? Why is the guy who's the Human Resources manager spelling the word resources wrong, saying he's the Human Recourses manager? It's comically fake.
What an
He
idiot.
emailed himself back and forth, trying to explain why he didn't have any money, and he forwards it to his dad. Now here's where the story gets maybe a little more complex. Having a fake job solves a lot of riddles in your life. No one's hassling you to get a new job. No one's hassling you to do chores all day. The problem is, if your dad works from home, if he was an accountant, for instance, which he was, and which he did, you actually have to wake up early every day and go to work. So there he was. Messages between Bart and Chandler. Hey, are you up for your meetings? Yeah. Over and over again. So Chandler woke up. But he had nothing to do all day because his job was pretend. And so he sat on his computer playing video games. And I'm not against people playing video games. I'm a guy myself. People play video games. But video games, if you don't know, and some of you are of an age where you do, and some of you are an age where you don't, are a much more social thing than they used to be. When you play video games, you don't just sit on Nintendo 64 and play Mario by yourself. You're playing role-player games with people from around the world. And who's up early in the morning when Mr. Halderson had to wake up to attend his fake work meetings? People in the military who are stationed overseas. They speak English, they're American, but they're on a different time schedule. They're on his time schedule. Most people here probably play video games at night during weekdays. But every day, Mr. Halderson was able to wake up and find a group of friends to play video games with online, one of which was stationed in Germany. This friend was a guy named Andrew Smith. Now, Mr. Smith, Mr. Halderson became kind of best friends. They would talk all the time. They communicated in this video game all the time. And Mr. Smith, he'll testify, he's coming up here, lives down south, he's back in the US. He'll tell you that Chandler really liked an SKS rifle when they'd play some of these shooting games. It was just something he liked. Not a big deal, there's nothing wrong with that. But this past summer, about a month before the murders of Bart and Krista Halderson, this online friend, Andrew Smith, comes to visit Mr. Halderson and in fact stays at the home with Bart and Krista. This is a picture of Mr. Smith in that perhaps crudely designed yellow shirt. That's Mr. Halderson. It's the only photo we have of them on that visit. You'll learn that Mr. Smith had gotten out of the military. He was done with it. But you also learn that he really likes guns. Like, he really likes guns. And he knew his friend liked SKS rifles. So when he visited him this year in June, he brought with him a gift. The SKS rifle that was found about 100 yards from Bart Halderson's body. Now, you'll meet Mr. Smith, and you'll probably concur with me after meeting him. He's not really probably a paperwork kind of guy. And so when he gave the gun to Mr. Halderson, he wanted to document that he transferred the gun, but he wasn't going to fill out any paperwork. So he just took the serial number of the gun, he put Mr. Halderson's driver's license next to it, and snapped a picture on his phone. There's a clear picture of that. But that serial number matches the gun found in the barn 100 yards from Bart Halderson's body. And before Mr. Smith left, he decided he would gift his friend something else, which was about 400 rounds of high-powered ammunition.
Perfect timing to stop and pause and react. I just saw someone commented, Cindy said, this poor dude will never get over giving him the murder weapon. I have to say, Sydney, he may live with a little bit of regret. However, Chandler was probably going to be psychotic and do something crazy anyways. I don't think it was the tipping point for him. Oh, I have a gun now. I think there's multiple weapons that he used in this crime. I think he would have just snapped regardless. Well, possibly. I don't know for sure, but what a wild. I mean, here everything is connected. Like, we've got both the locations. We've got his girlfriend Snapchatting, the Snapchat location, showcasing the location where he was at, which, by the way, this is from the video that I made. I have this location pulled up. She saw him right here next to the Jensen Drive and Old 60 Road intersection. This is like where she found him on the map. The body was found, his mother's body was found somewhere right over here near the Wisconsin River. This is near the town of Roxbury in Wisconsin. It's all very close to where they lived. And actually, the girl who lived at the intersection of this, on this corner right here in this, I think, white or blue house. Yeah, this blue house. She testified as well. And her mom was here visiting and saw Chandler. So we have visual evidence, not only with the Snapchat proving his location. We have visual evidence that Chandler was coming down this road. She thought maybe he was just fishing. I don't know what they ended up. I watched the majority of that testimony. But we've got the location, both the locations that he was known to be in, where both of the bodies were found. We've got the rifle that was found in the barn that matches the exact rifle that Chandler owned. Like, all of it, it's just too connected. All of it's too connected for him to ever have a fighting chance at a non-guilty verdict, right? Yeah, Joyce says he would kill one way or another. Gun, knife, blunt force. Completely agree. Yeah, right says that as well. Also, big shout out to VC for joining the Tier 1 support level subscription, member, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to just say Tier 1 and Tier 2, not level. I don't know why level throws me off. Thank you for becoming a Tier 1 member, VC. Really appreciate the support. But yeah, it sounds like Fem also has some pretty wild stories. I'm seeing the stories in the chat. You guys are sharing some really, yeah. Lene says, Fem, that is a mental disorder. I was also married to a man that got pleasure from inflicting emotional pain. He loved making me cry. I finally got out of it after 17 long, miserable years. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Shout out to all of you that have gotten out of the toxic relationships. Yeah, Alicia just said there are way too many people in chat that have experienced abuse. Hugs to all of you. Yeah. My gosh. Sorry to hear about all of those horrific stories that you guys have gone through. I can't even imagine. But yeah, what a supportive chat also. I mean, a lot of people are, just going back and forth, and I see it. I see you guys. It's really wonderful to see. So thank you guys for all just being so awesome. Cheryl says, I met a guy from Ohio who lived a total lie and believed all of it, and his parents were equally the same. Yeah, this is the fact that people lie like this, like to this extent, is just crazy. So anyways, let's get back.
You'll hear from Mr. Smith. Despite maybe his bizarre actions and maybe his bizarre statements he may make, he's not a suspect. Police proved he was in Texas at the time all of this happened. Another unknowing accomplice to Mr. Halderson's crimes. So at this point, Mr. Halderson's working a pretend job at American Family Insurance. He's not getting paid. His father, who's an accountant, is kind of on his case about it. And he's got to figure out something else. And the best way out of your pretend job is an even more pretend job. So around May going into June of this past year, American Family wasn't going well. So Mr. Halderson decided to get a new job. He's going to be an astronaut. I work at SpaceX. This is messages to his girlfriend. I have a good feeling about SpaceX. I have a follow-up interview for Florida tomorrow. Shoot, sorry, I got the job. I have training next week over the computer and leave June 11th and start June 14th. He didn't give himself a lot of time, but what he gave himself was an escape hatch. He could move. He could end the lies that he had going on in his life about being a rescue scuba diver and working for American Family Insurance by simply moving to Florida. That presented with it one major problem, which was that job, which was also make-believe, would pay absolutely no better than the last job that was make-believe. So in late June, as he's supposed to start the job at SpaceX in Florida for Elon Musk, something happens in the Halderson family, something real. There's a change. Remember when I started off and I said there were 2 sons? His older brother gets hospitalized. That's real. It happened. Got diagnosed with diabetes.
The only real thing that happened in this story is something that happened to his brother. Sorry to interrupt so quickly, but yeah, continuing.
His older brother gets hospitalized. That's real. It happened. Got diagnosed with diabetes and was having some complications. He's doing great now. Mr. Halderson uses that as an excuse to delay starting at SpaceX. It was a stroke of good luck for him, a stroke of bad luck, of course, for the family, but a stroke of good luck for him. But that only gave him a couple of weeks. So his brother, who's doing really well in life, engaged, house, real job, making a lot of money, suddenly he's in the hospital, being doted over by his family, by his mother. People care about him. So roughly a week later, when Chandler Halderson needs to think of a new lie to get out of the SpaceX lie, guess who ends up in the hospital? Being doted over by his mother and his family with a supposed neck injury. This is Father's Day of this year, in late June. That's Bart Halderson in the middle, Mitchell on the right. Of course, Chandler wearing a neck brace that no one told him he had to wear on the left. Now, around this time, Chandler started telling people an extraordinarily bizarre set of claims. That he had a brain bleed, a hematoma, that he had spinal damage, that he needed his head drilled open, that he had inability to use his legs at all. Couldn't drive. People had to do that for him. That he had nerve damage, that he needed to get a colostomy bag. But most importantly, he couldn't go to Florida. The doctors had told him he couldn't fly. Of course, that's not true. You'll see his medical records and you'll see his doctor testify. So suddenly this man, who was, for all intents and purposes, disabled, was being doted over by his family. People were making him meals. You'll see notes his mom was leaving for him. Call this neighbor if you need anything. She'll help you out. Couldn't drive, couldn't work, couldn't do chores. Now, a bit of a preview and a fast forward. This guy who's wearing a neck brace nearly every day in late June 2021 would have no problem just days later carrying large bags of ice out of gas stations to chill his father's cut-up body in a freezer. And you'll note, no neck brace. And in fact, you'll note in this case, Chandler Halderson is never seen in that neck brace again after July 1st, 2021, when he kills his parents. So the job lies are over for Chandler in his life. American Family Insurance, don't worry about that because he got this new job at SpaceX. In SpaceX, I can't go because I'm hurt. It was a perfect scenario. But there was one last lie that Chandler had to get out of. And that is he had told everyone he was going to MATC for college and that he was about to graduate. And you'll hear there's a hint of truth to that he was going there at one point. In fact, there's a hint of truth to all of these lies. He did go to MATC for like a semester. He failed out. But he wasn't going there anymore. And the parents were starting to grow suspicious. And we knew this because when we searched the house, we started to find notes on Bart Halderson's desk. Bart Halderson was one of these guys who prints his emails. I don't know if any of you print your emails, but some people, they get an email and they print it out. That was Bart. And we find one. It's an email between Bart and Krista, detailing a conversation that he had had with Chandler's advisors at MATC. Supposed to meet with someone else, so we met with this guy, Daniel Spieth. Chandler's gonna get a solar certificate. He wasn't. He's registered for fall classes. He wasn't. He's in the IT program. He wasn't. All of these things, line by line, none of them true. But Bart Halderson talked to this person. So police honed in on something. That line. When I talked to the advisor, he sounds just like Chaz on the phone. And he gives this number. That is, of course, because Bart Halderson, when he talked to Chandler's college advisor, was just talking to Chandler, who had bought a burner phone, cheap phone from like Walgreens that you can buy with no service carrier. And police know that because they searched Chandler's bedroom, and in his desk drawer, they found that phone. Now, this kept going. The lie about going to MATC or Madison College was the most extensive. There were emails, dozens, if not hundreds of emails going back and forth between supposed advisors at MATC and Chandler, and then he'd forward them to his dad from people like someone named Alyssa Brandt, 64. Sometimes Chandler would spell Brandt, B-R-A-N-D-T, sometimes just with a T and no D, depended on the day. But they all had the @Gmail address, not @madisoncollege.edu. And you'll hear from the people at Madison College, their people have real emails. They don't use Gmail. But it was over and over again. Alyssa Brandt was one of them. You heard about Daniel Spieth, also @Gmail. There was someone named Aaron Hoover, also @Gmail. In this one, Chandler's getting upset. I have to have a call with whomever's in charge within the next 30 minutes. I have been a student for over 3 years, and I will be treated fairly. Of course, he's yelling at himself. All of these were fake. Back and forth to himself, and eventually to his dad.
What? Okay. First of all, Angela, thank you so much. Or not Angela, Angel Andrea, or Andrea. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. She says, I've been watching this case since it began. I have learned Chaz was very sloppy, and I have been at a loss listening to the trial. The extents he went as far as burning parts in Fireplace, my heart goes out to their families. Me too. Oh my gosh. And Angela, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Really, really appreciate that. And you also mentioned that you're glad to be in this chat so we can talk about this case more until it starts back up next week. Do you know the exact day they're starting back up, Andrea? Did I say Angela again? Sorry. It's like my brain is like telling me to say Angela because of the beginning of your name. But Andrea, are you aware of when they start back up? I am definitely hooked on this case. And oh my gosh, I will be here to cover different aspects of the story for sure. But guys, earlier you guys were asking, what does he do with his time? If he's like faking having this job, he's faking having all of these different things going on in his life, he probably spent all of his time sending emails back and forth to himself, like legitimately. Now that I think about it, it's like this would be like a full-time job. He's acting as if he's like his advisors, and he's like, I forgot. I just watched this like 2 days ago. And it's like, of course this is what he spent his time doing. Every single thing is a total lie. Andrea is fine, LOL. Sasha, thank you so much for becoming a level 2 supporter, Sasha. Guys, the support for the channel has been just overwhelming today. Seriously, thank you guys so much. It all goes towards this project that I'm working on this year. I'm going to be doing a stream that's going to be talking more about that project and kind of going into more detail about that. And it'll be a stream where you guys, if you want to help me with that project, that'll be the stream that I kind of talk more about that, and we kind of like get some hype built up around it. But yeah, all of the support on these other streams just goes towards that as well. So thank you guys so much. Jen says, it just gets better. Yeah, this just gets more and more wild, does it not? Oh, they say they hope to be back at 8:45 Tuesday. Oh, okay. Tuesday. Okay, so that is the 18th. Wow, so they're going to already be back as early as the 18th? Andrea, if you're right about that, that's pretty soon. Wow. Okay, well, thanks for the update. Yeah, let's get back to it. But yeah, thank you for the super chats. Really, really appreciate it. And then Sasha, thanks so much for becoming a tier 2, level 2 supporter. Really, really appreciate that. Vivian says his job was playing roles and covering up deception. Truly was. It truly was. Let's keep rolling. We're 45 minutes in. We'll get to chat about it at the end. This is going to go, I don't know how long this stream will go, but oh my gosh. I have so much to say about this. Oh yeah, MLK Day is Monday. I forgot about that. Chloe's mom. I almost said Chloe. But yeah, this guy, oh my gosh, let's just give some like round of applause in the chat to William Brown. This opening statement is just an absolute, it's so good to listen to. I'm glad I'm going through this again with you guys. This is so good.
The Halderson parents had to have been growing extraordinarily frustrated. Kid wasn't getting paid. He was injured suddenly. His college transcripts aren't coming through, so he can't get a job. So police looked at that original note again. They saw something interesting, which is in this sea of fake people, Daniel Spieth, Aaron Hoover, Tom Selznick, Alyssa Brandt, there was one name that stood out, Omar Job. And that name didn't stand out because it was fake. It stood out to the police because it was real. That is the only real person on any of these emails. And what we've discovered in this investigation is in just the day and a half prior to being murdered, Bart Halderson, Chandler's dad, called MATC and pretended to be Chandler to try to finally get some information on what's going on. Just as any of you could call any doctor and pretend to be your kid, you know their name, their social security number, their birthday, you can get through. You can get through those minor security things. Bart called MATC, said, I'm Chandler, and I want some answers. And for 17 minutes, Bart Halderson, just before his murder, talked to a man named Omar Job. Omar Job is a entry-level customer service guy at MATC. He's got no skin in the game, doesn't even really remember the call, but it was recorded for customer service purposes. And Bart Halderson questions Omar, and he's very mean at first, because in his mind, he'd been getting screwed around for a year on where his son's transcripts were and what degree program he was in and why he hasn't graduated yet. But toward the end of the call, Bart asks Omar Job, hey, do any of these people work there? Alyssa Brandt, Daniel Spieth, Aaron Hoover. And he's told no, they've never worked there. And in fact, they haven't. And he says, that'll be it then. That'll be it then are the last recorded words of Bart Halderson alive.
Dang.
Bart Halderson, shortly after that, sends a text message. A text message that ultimately sealed his fate, which was a text to his own son. And it says, I spoke with Omar Job.
Oh, no.
Now,
Oh, no.
what happens over the next 24 or so hours is a bit unknown. Homicide investigations are a lot of unknowns because the two people who are the victims, who maybe know the most about what happened, are of course dead. But there's not much verifiable information that happens over the next 24 hours. It's also unknown if Chandler even knew who Omar Job was. Of course, he wasn't going to MATC, so why would he know who some lowly entry-level customer service guy was? He wouldn't. But Bart Halderson did. And when you look at Bart Halderson's work calendar that he maintains at his accounting firm, you see something quite interesting. Remember at the beginning, I said I wanted you to remember a date and a time, which was that the Haldersons were killed between 3 and 5 p.m. on July 1st, 2021. Guess what was on Bart's calendar at that exact time? He was supposed to have a meeting with the people at MATC with his son. So I was supposed to go to MATC and have this meeting at 3 o'clock on July 1st, 2021. Of course, that meeting couldn't happen because he wasn't going there, and none of the people were real, but Bart Halderson knew that. Bart Halderson knew that. And so Chandler had obviously figured that out at this point. There was no way out of this one. You can't get out of this lie. And so the next day, Chandler Halderson wakes up on July 1st and starts messaging his girlfriend. 7:26, I hardly slept. 7:27, stuff hasn't been going well for me lately. Just trying to plan for the next thing to fuck me over. 7:51, I had a great future planned. It's falling apart. 1:04, just 2 hours prior to the murders. I overheard they might go to the cabin with their friends, but I don't know. So somewhat of a full circle at this point, that's the moment Chandler Halderson decides to kill his parents and engage in this bizarre story of them missing at a cabin with an unknown couple in an unknown car at 1:04, July 1st. Now, shortly after this message, just about an hour and 10 minutes, Bart Halderson's getting ready to go to MATC for this meeting. Perhaps to confront Chandler. Perhaps Chandler's going to confront him.
I go to sleep with it on. I wake up and I'm like, whoa.
Okay. We're going to stop because it's going through an ad. Wow. Thank you, Andrea, for also becoming a tier 2 member. All these amazing, Joyce has said, look at all this beautiful green. Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. I didn't want to stop it at this point. The ad interrupted me. We're going to keep it rolling and then we're going to keep talking because we have to get through this. But oh my gosh. Cheryl just said it's scary to realize there are a lot of people like this, but not all are murderers. It's true. There's so many people that are like, they lie about everything, right? And there's so many people that get caught up in that and don't realize how many people in their life are lying to them. It's wild. It's wild. But yeah, let's get back to it because we're getting close to the end here. I'm excited to like be done and chat with you guys about like what your thoughts are on this case. I know we're kind of chatting as we go, but oh my gosh. Lene says he meant to cover his lies. Sometimes liars are not willing to ever admit they lied. They will do what they have to keep from being exposed. I think that's what happens with people like this. It's perpetual. They keep everything as a lie and it just keeps going and growing and going and growing more. Anyways, crazy.
Bart texts Chandler, I'm ready whenever you are. That's about 50 minutes prior to when he was killed. Those are the last words ever recorded of Bart Halderson. His phone is never used, really. Again, he dies at some point. He never goes back to work. No one ever sees him. The neighborhood he lives in, riddled with security cameras, never see him again. I'm ready whenever you are. What the evidence will show in this case is that sometime after the I'm ready whenever you are message, and probably just around 3 o'clock when he was supposed to go to this meeting with MATC, Bart Halderson was shot in the back multiple times with a high-powered rifle. And after shooting his dad, Chandler texts his mom, Dad's phone died. Text or call me. And get sewed on your way home. I have an extra hour of work. You know he didn't have an extra hour of work, but he was delaying her getting there because the evidence will show he needed to move things around, prepare for what he was about to do when she showed up. She responds, K, I can, smiley face. Those are the last words of Krista Halderson alive. Shortly thereafter, around just after 5, neighborhood security cameras, the Haldersons didn't have one, but the neighborhood, a lot of people did, show Krista pulling in, getting out of the car, walking in. She's never seen again until her legs are found out by the Wisconsin River. But just after killing his mom and his dad, the evidence in this case will show that Chandler went on his phone. If you go on your phone, I don't know if any of you have ever taken a note. You can take notes on your phone. iPhone has an app called Notes. We got some raw data, and I'll put it up here in a second. I won't put the raw data because it's a bit challenging to see. But Chandler creates a note about 5:11 that day on July 1st, probably minutes after killing his parents. And the note reads, "Weekend chores, H2O2 lemon." H2O2 is the chemical name for hydrogen peroxide. You'll hear from people in this case, it's essentially a household cleaner to clean up blood. Lemon, it deodorizes things. Mixed together, it's a pretty cheap cleaning.
I think he's legitimately like off his rocker to put this in your phone after like, I have so much to say. Oh my gosh. Also, Panda B, it makes me sad that his mom was so happy to stop for sodas and how she just believes her son that her husband's phone died without question, even adding the smiley face at the end. All of it is just so sad. And like, also, the way he talked to his mom, like he didn't say like, would you be able to bring me some sodas? I'm staying up late or whatever. Like he just says like, bring me this, do this. And it's like, I bet this kid was such a POS. Like, and his mom sounds like she was just the nicest lady. From some of the other testimonies, both his parents sound like just the nicest people. And this kid is such a loser. Cotton Farmer says, I'm a current loser in life and I could never kill my family. Look, Cotton Farmer, I don't think you're a loser. And even if you feel like you're not your best self, it's really great that you that you would never kill your family. Anyways, continuing. This is crazy. Allison says, you like watching my facial expressions? They mirror yours. Like the first time I watched this, my jaw was on like my desk. This time I'm able to keep it somewhat contained, but oh my gosh.
Product you can have at home. So Chandler writes a note after murdering his parents. H2O2 lemon. Door handles. Move your shit upstairs. Get a job. And clean the floor.
Wow.
He then does just that. Spends the afternoon cleaning the house, eventually jumps in the shower. We know he's in the shower because his girlfriend and him FaceTime when they're in the shower. No judgment, but that's what happened, and the girlfriend took a screenshot. We know he's in the shower. They say they're good nights, and Chandler says, I'm going to bed. But he doesn't. He goes to gas stations. He's carrying out large bags of ice. Because what Chandler had done that night is what you all probably suspect by now. He had dismembered his parents, or at least started the process, and had to fit them inside of freezers that were in the Halderson home. And you'll see some of these freezers, they're cleaned. But there's still some evidence around. That night, I'm not going to show many photographs for a little bit, just because I think you deserve to kind of be eased into some of the things you're going to see. That night, what appears to have happened, what the evidence will show, is Mr. Halderson took items from around the house and began cutting apart his parents. Saw blades covered in Bart and Krista's blood. An axe, Bart and Krista's blood. Hand saws, things of that sort, covered in Bart and Krista's blood. He cleaned the house as best he could, and you'll hear about that. But still, blood spatter found of Bart and Krista's blood around the house. And he had a plan. It wasn't a well-thought-out plan, but he had one. And that was he was going to burn the remains in the family fireplace there in the house. So it's July 1st. And if any of you remember, 4th of July weekend's pretty hot this year. People in the neighborhood thought it was a little bit weird that so much fireplace was going on. They smelled stuff. One person, this neighborhood's full of retired cops, but one retired cop said, I smelled like a barbecue, smelled like a pig roast. And he said that just not knowing what it was at the time, talking to the police. And that night, a neighbor who had a security camera behind the Halderson home.
Okay, pausing real quick. Iris, you just joined. This is the worst time you could possibly join. You say just joining. This sounds heavy. I really suggest you watch this from the beginning. This is a really bad part to join in on, but feel free to just keep watching. It's fine. This is where it's getting, obviously, it's getting bad. But thanks for being here. I'll scoot it back just a second.
And that night, a neighbor who had a security camera behind the Halderson home, way far away, was able to catch something. because it was pitch black at night, it was able to catch just a little glimpse of all the windows in the Halderson house. We have an expert that's going to come in who works with video and light analysis. And he's going to tell you, he was able to figure out which window that was. And the window it was that he was looking at in that camera footage that kind of just piqued his attention was the window by the fireplace. And for many hours over the course of that night, the light flickered, came on, died down, on, down. But in the early morning hours the next day, he'd been up all night doing this. Because you'll learn, you really can't burn human remains. Your home fireplace is not going to get hot enough to do that. It takes an extraordinary amount of heat. If you go to like a crematorium, you're inducing it with oxygen, chemicals, not a residential fireplace. But eventually, in the middle of the night, the fire started going well. It appeared that air was being pumped into it, and you'll see when they searched the Halderson home, there was in fact a fan found right next to the fireplace, next to a tape measure, trying to make sure the remains were the right size as they went in the fireplace. But that light at one point grew and grew and grew, and it got very bright in one room. And then all of a sudden, the kitchen light came on, and then all the lights went out. I don't know if anyone's ever taken a hot Pyrex pan out of the stove and put water in it, or dumped hot water on your windshield on your car in the winter, but it explodes the glass. The evidence in this case will show that what happened was the fire had gotten out of control, burning these human remains. Human fat was rendering out. It was igniting. So Chandler threw water on it. But when you throw water on your residential fireplace, you break the glass. And that's exactly what happened. Just above that broken glass panel, which is clearly shattered, you see the paint kind of bubbled off from the heat. This is in the search of the home some week later. The fireplace is clearly used. The police noticed something interesting about this photograph, which is, despite being clearly used, the logs are rebuilt. Someone had cleaned out all the ashes and rebuilt it.
I was just typing in the chat. Never mind. We'll get to it in a moment. I'm getting YouTube Premium after today because if we're going to watch these long videos together, I want to be able to get through them without the ads. I apologize. This was just at this big peak moment for another huge discovery. Chandler's an idiot. That's what I was typing in the chat to be able to post right when they say this.
Clean logs, newspaper, one burnt piece in the middle. But what stuck out to police right away was that little rock right there. They thought, what is that? You'll hear from the people who collected this evidence. You'll hear from an arson specialist from the Department of Justice, a guy named Bill Boswell, who come in. You'll hear from a forensic anthropologist, a doctor named Cristina Figueroa Soto, who will tell you, we were all interested in what that was because it was out of place. So they pulled it off and they put it on one of these fancy police deals. And the forensic anthropologist took one look at it. And she said, oh, this is a human skull. He had burned his parents' heads in that fireplace. Later, the police would go through the ash trap of that fireplace, and they would find human remains, facial bones, the knee bones, which, because we found Krista's legs, by deduction, had to be Bart, all in the ash trap of that fireplace. They were all cataloged. Now, burnt remains can't be tested for DNA. There's no biological material left, but they're able to tell it's human based on the structure of the bone. And you'll hear from the anthropologist who will talk about that. So that's what happened on July 1st. Now, you're going to hear about all of those days in between Bart and Krista dying at 3 o'clock on the 1st, all the way through the police report. But to summarize, Chandler stayed up all night that night of the 1st. Obviously, things weren't going well, burning his parents' remains. So the next day, perhaps not having slept, he walked into Fleet Farm at 7:21 a.m. to buy a tarp. He's on video. He knew his girlfriend was spending the night that night, so he spent the whole day cleaning. But he's sending her text messages, which you will see throughout the day, asking her to bring him hydrogen peroxide and a mop because he still needed to clean up. The next day, Saturday, July 3rd, 2021, his girlfriend leaves early in the morning. That's the day she snaps that picture of him out by the Wisconsin River dumping off his mom's remains. He spends the rest of the day hanging out. But when he goes home and says he's going to bed that night, this young man who supposedly couldn't drive or carry heavy objects, his phone records show that he's up near the Wisconsin River in Portage, as if you're driving the interstate up to the Dells, right when you cross the Wisconsin River, off in the state land there to the right. For about an hour, in the middle of the night, the police tried to search that area. It was impossible with the currents. Whatever remains were thrown in there or lost forever. July 4th, 2021, this is the day he texts himself. Spends the day with his girlfriend's family, goes to their farm to use the pool. That's the day he says, hey, can I come back tomorrow? Goes to some fireworks. He's living a normal life. No mention of his parents. The next day, takes out the garbage in the morning. Who knows what was in that garbage can? We've thoroughly searched the landfills, but it's impossible to find anything. But he took out the garbage. He goes out to the farm to supposedly use the pool where he's seen walking out of the woods. Cell phone tower records prove that he was out there on the farm. Remember I told you he told that person that he was having trouble at work and school and having a bad doctor's appointment.
Gonna pause. Cheryl just said, I might have a heart attack if I listen to any more. Quick pause. Everyone, feel free, take a deep breath. With me, okay, on the count of three. I think I needed this pause as well. Someone was at the gym. I think they said Junebug. So Junebug is already probably breathing deeply at the gym. So we're going to take a big deep breath together. All right, 3, 2, 1. Okay, no heart attacks here. Okay. I understand this case is wild. We're almost through this, and then we can continue chatting. But I can see you guys are getting fired up. Alicia getting fired up in the chat. Didn't even research it good while he was Googling how to do it. None of it, Andrea. Everything was botched. This kid is an idiot. There is not a single thing that he can do and that his defense can do that will paint him in an innocent light, right? Nothing at all. It's terrible. So I had to pause for a moment. Let's see what everyone's saying here. I couldn't sleep one night after watching the case. Yeah, I'll say this. I wasn't like this when I first watched the case. I wasn't able to just be like, all right, just take a breath. I was thinking how is this possible? I was feeling all kinds of emotions. So if you're just watching this for the first time, I get it. It's crazy. And I think Panda Bee mentioned just wanting to hug their parent. And I feel the same way. Like, I want to give my parents a hug right now because it's just like I live 1,500 miles away from them. I'll get to see them next month, so I will definitely do that. But my gosh, what a crazy case. Ty says, so I just saw that because of COVID and the case has been postponed, someone who's not associated with the case is surprised his lawyers didn't call it a mistrial because of the situation. They could do this whole thing over 100 times and he's going to be found guilty. So, yeah. Anyways, let's finish this off. I'm going to let this play through till the end, and then we're going to chat together and go over just what we all saw.
He never went to any doctor's appointment that day. Phone records.
I'll scroll back just a minute. So right there. No, I didn't scroll back much, but yeah.
Cell phone tower records prove that he was out there on the farm. Remember I told you he told that person that he was having trouble at work and school and having a bad doctor's appointment. He never went to any doctor's appointment that day. Phone records show he never talked to any doctor. It was all a ruse to be able to go out in the woods and hide his father's body. The next day, not much happens because Chandler was up all night. Again, that light analysis shows all night, the garage light on and off. The garage, of course, being where we found some of these tools, the axe covered in blood. He's cleaning up. At 4:30 in the morning, for no apparent reason, he drives around the city of Madison. There's no idea what he did there. But he's not doing much. But people begin questioning him about his parents. He just says they're late. The person most worried, perhaps, is his girlfriend. She thought that was unlike them. The next day, he drives back to the farm, throws a bag of bloody rags into their garbage can that's out by the street. And at 11:22, he texts his girlfriend that he's finally going to the police. We know that bag of rags came from his house because they were in the Target bag his girlfriend picked up from Target, and she did the curbside pickup. So her name was printed on the outside. It was when she brought him hydrogen peroxide. He filled the bag with bloody rags and left it at the house. The next day, he starts Googling body found, Wisconsin dismembered body found. He's walking door to door asking about security cameras in his neighborhood. And at 4 p.m., they take him downtown and they arrest him at 6:41. So that's the story. That's why you're here for a couple weeks. Like I said in the beginning, a lot of cases end with the murder. This one, it's just a small piece of the puzzle. None of the things that happen after and none of the things happened before make any sense without knowing the murder happened on a specific day at a specific time. But the evidence in this case you'll find is overwhelming. Chandler Halderson killed his parents on July 1st, 2021. He cut up their bodies with axes and saws and knives. And he didn't even give them the dignity of having a funeral or even a final resting place in one piece or together. Their remains were scattered across Dane County, in public land, on farms, in garbage cans, in rivers, and perhaps every ditch is a possibility in this county. You'll find the evidence in this case is overwhelming. Now, over the next couple of weeks, I'll make you a couple promises as your prosecutor in this case. I'm not here to waste your time. But of all the constitutional rights we talked about of Chandler, he has them. I want you to respect them. There's another one that you should know, which is this is the only time we get to have this trial. You get one trial in the United States of America, and I have to do it right. So if that means calling a lot of witnesses, I apologize in advance. If it means calling experts to say things that maybe you already know, I apologize in advance. But I'm going to do my job right as your prosecutor. Second, you're going to see terrible photographs. There were approximately 5,000 photographs taken in this case. You're going to see maybe total a couple hundred of actual body parts, maybe a couple dozen. We have scoured those photographs and tried to remove ones that are just horrible to see because of the conditions the bodies were in, because of insects and maggots and things of that sort, and instead are trying to only show you photographs that help you understand how the remains were hidden, where they were hidden, how they were dismembered. To the extent possible, we're using cleaner photographs that were taken by the Dane County Medical Examiner. I promise you, I'm not trying to pull on anyone's heartstrings. I'm not trying to make this overly emotional. You might feel emotional. I suspect many of you have never seen anything like what you're going to see in the next couple of weeks. But I promise to do my best to limit the amount. And lastly, I promise to just ask questions, a lot of questions, because you're the jury in this case, and you deserve to hear absolutely everything. It will be a struggle. You'll get sick of walking back and forth to these jury rooms. You might get sick of each other. I hope not. But it's an important task. What happened here shouldn't happen, but it did. And so in a couple weeks, when I stand up here and Ms. Raymond stands up here, I'm going to ask you to deliver a verdict of guilty, to finally bring some much needed truth to Chandler Halderson. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Brown.
Wow.
Attorney Brown.
Okay, that's it. We got through it. I feel like I need to get up and like stretch a little bit, like do a couple lunges, get the I just fell over. You know, get the mind on something else, right? Maybe fill up my mug with some more liquid so I can sip on something just to get my mind off of that. My gosh. Whew. Everything's going to be okay. Whew. I saw someone comment also, how did the prosecutor not show any like emotion or break down during that. I'm doing this having to pause every 10 minutes to go like, Chandler Halderson's a piece of crap, you know, like that was incredible. This man delivered what was arguably one of the most detailed, in my opinion, one of the most detailed opening statements to a murder trial that I've ever seen. Just the evidence. I mean, I know it's not taken as evidence in an opening statement, but they pretty much said, like, we're going to use all of this as evidence, and it will be. He basically said, like, obviously they want to come back and give a verdict of guilty. They will have no trouble doing that, in my opinion. William is a professional. Yeah, Alex, I completely agree. Guys, thank you for sticking with me through that. And Alex, thanks for being here this whole time. You have seen this already. There are many of you that have seen this video already, this entire video. So thanks for sticking around and chatting through it with everyone. It's a wild one, and I'm going to be here to cover more of it because it's very clear, it's very obvious that a lot of people are like captivated by this story now. There's definitely some new people in this chat that I'm excited that are here following the channel now as well, that are probably going to want me to continue to cover this. So like I said at the beginning, it only makes sense to show you guys this opening statement because it gives just the best description of what to expect from this trial moving forward, what the things that they're going to be covering. Cotton Farmer, it's good to have the ads to the stop every once in a while, but annoying still. Yeah, Cotton Farmer. Yeah, so I'm going to get YouTube Premium at some point. There will be less stopping. However, I can't just play the entire video without stopping. Under the fair use argument for being able to even watch this on my channel, I have to stop every so often as opposed to just ripping essentially the full video. Also, it's nice to be able to stop and chat with you guys as we're going along. I like to kind of interact with the chat, especially if people are donating and thanks to Ray also for becoming a tier 1 member, all the different memberships. I have to stop and thank the people during the stream. Would be cool to have a case review some days after court, maybe. Yeah, I think that would be really, really cool. Doing some sort of recap at the end of each day, or maybe every other day, do some sort of a recap. So we'll have to see. But yeah, thanks for being here. Let's just chat a little bit. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are, just kind of overall. I think I saw some comments. I'm trying to think of some of the comments that went through there during the live stream, and one of them was something about how could you be so detached from reality? How could you be so psychotic? You have to have no soul. And like I feel that. Like like when you hear a story like this, you start to wonder, like, does this kid is he a human anymore at that point? Has everything left his body? Does he have a soul? Does he have a heart? Like, obviously he has a beating heart, but does he have, like, these are his parents. Like, this story is crazy. And I know that there's crazier stories out there. But man, this, like, you hear about something like this and you just can't even believe that someone would do this to their own parents. Let's see. Jen says, I love how you interact with us. Yeah, me too, Jen. I mean, that's a part of having a YouTube channel. If I just wanted to repost like clips from trials and things like that, I would just post them. Part of the fun of all of this is like being here with you guys and chatting over it and going over it. Also, everyone hit the like button. We're about to cross 200 likes. Everyone hit that like button right now. Also, let's see where we're at subs wise. We are at 16,623. So getting close to that 17,000 mark here in just over 400 subs. So if you're liking this content, if you enjoyed today's stream, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we will be well on our way to 17,000. We're going to check back on the subs here in a moment and see where we're at. So definitely subscribe if you're enjoying this. I wanted to quickly go through some of the locations. I started to do that during the stream. If you didn't see my previous video, we went over some of the locations that are involved in this case. So I'm going to quickly do that at the end of this video just to kind of showcase some of the locations. So the house, this is the house of the Haldersons right here, 4595. Now, all of this is like public information. I'm not doxing them. This case is like mainstream at this point. So this is the house. The street view from 2013 has way more trees in front of it. But yeah, this is the house. This property right next to it, it's funny, Century 21, this is where he claimed to work, and he didn't work for Century 21. This was for sale in 2013. Everyone's hitting the map times. I love it, you guys. Thank you for adding the map time. Yes, we're going into the maps. There is now a house next to them. So if we zoom out, you can see the actual 3D model of that house right here. Let's see. Yeah. Boom. So they've got the lake back here. They did check the lake during the search efforts initially, and then they went back to the lake towards the end. But yeah, this is their house. If I actually zoom out and show it in relation to like the nearby towns, we got Madison, Wisconsin right here, and they're in between Madison and I guess just north of Madison. There's really no other main city that's north of there. JTube, hey Aaron, just got in and don't know anything about this case apart from your maps. Oh, JTube, please. And if you don't want to watch my stream, because it took us 2 hours to get through the hour-long video, watch the hour-long opening testimony from the prosecution. Alicia, if you could get the link to drop into the thing, that would be amazing, into the chat, just in case there's people that are joining. JTube, I would love for you to watch the stream, obviously, but if you don't, at least watch the 1 hour and 7 minute video if you want. It's a pretty horrific story, but yeah, it's a wild one. JTube, you came in just at the end. Claire says, I can't believe how evil he is. He did this to his parents. Did his parents never see something was very wrong with him? Yeah, that's a good question. We'll never know, right? It's like, clearly he was just a liar, a complete liar. The house, the property that he mentioned that never ended up having any significance because they never went to their lake house property near White Lake, is actually up here on the Sawyer Lake. So their property is right here. One of these houses right here. I don't know the exact address, but it's right off of Sawyer Lake Road. So this is where supposedly, or where he said that they were supposed to be during the 4th of July weekend, was up here. And if you see, that's about 3 hours north of Madison where they live. So they live right between Windsor and DeForest, right here on this lake. So if we do the directions from their house to their lake house, which this is just showing White Lake, but if we go up to their lake house on Sawyer Lake, it is right here. So right at 3 hours, like a 3 hour drive. So he was trying to say that his parents were 3 hours away. No, 3 hours, 35 minutes. 3 is what it's saying. Oh no, 2 hours, 57. Yeah. Which, that's what's crazy about this as well, is like he was trying to pin his parents that far away from the house. Had they not found the evidence and their bodies so soon, they would be searching in all of these places. They would have to search along the roads, all, because they were under the impression that they could have gotten into a wreck, all these different scenarios. It's crazy. It's crazy. Thank you, Alicia, for linking the full prosecution video. I'm going to put it in the description of this video now as well. Thank you. I guess I could have just done that. I had this pulled up. So it's now full prosecution. It's also in the description of this video if you refresh the page. But yeah, Anyway, so that's the location there. And then this is the outside of the 3500 block of Irwin Road, which is the property that he ditched his father on. This is the barn that the gun was found in. And then the body was found somewhere in the trees. This is obviously very, very close to their house. Let's see exactly how far. I mean, Madison is right. Sorry, I'm all over the place, you guys. Cottage Grove, roughly, from their house is 30 minutes. Yeah, 23 minutes. So it's a much more detailed video that I posted yesterday or the day before if you want to go through all the locations. But anyways, just sub to your channel from the M Cave. You're doing so good. Oh, thank you so much, Profeta Crypto. Appreciate that. I did a live stream on the M Cave a few days ago. It's still up if you want to check that live stream out. It was pretty fun. Fem, I love reading through everyone's comments. I too love reading through everyone's comments. It's the best part of doing these streams is going through the comments. Michelle Moore says, dying to check out the interrogation now. Yeah, check out the interrogation video. Maybe I'll do that on another, I don't know. It's hard to say. I think Monday I might not be active Monday. Beautiful wife, my wife has Martin Luther King Day off. So we may be hanging out that day. She doesn't get many days off. And so when we can take advantage of those, we do. So I may not be doing anything Monday. However, if the case does pick back up on Tuesday, maybe I'll do some sort of a recap or a live stream or something on Tuesday. I think that would be fun. I think Andrea said that maybe it'll be picking back up on Tuesday. So definitely we got over 200 likes. Thank you for everyone who's gotten the stream to over 200 likes. I really don't know, man. Part of me wants to open up the phone lines to see what you guys think, but I think everyone is probably in agreement that this case is just tremendously sad. So there's nothing to really speculate on. If you would want me to open up the lines, I would maybe do that for like 10 minutes. But maybe I'll just round things off here. Panda says, you must hang out with beautiful wife when you can. Absolutely. Exactly. Crypto says, I'm going to check it out. You really impressed me. Thank you, Crypto. Also, Crypto, thank you so much for the $3 super chat. Really appreciate that. Thank you for being here on the channel. Found me through the Kenny Veach videos. That Kenny Veach video really took off. I got a lot of new subscribers from that video. So thanks for hopping in on this live stream, Crypto. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chat. Dylan D says, such a strange case. He seems so normal up to this point. Wonder what happened to his life situation. Also interesting to see his girlfriend tipped off the weird behavior on their property. Yeah, the girlfriend thing is weird. So Dylan, the one thing about the girlfriend, I'm glad you mentioned the girlfriend. The fact that she was like so willing to buy him like bleach and stuff is very weird. I think she probably knew something was up, but I'm not sure if she knew obviously the extent of it. Someone says, open the lines. Priya says, open the lines. Okay. I'm going to open the lines for like a hot minute. Hold on. Let me see something. Okay. I'm going to check one thing here. We're having a ball here. Dylan D, I agree. I wonder the same. I guess we hope to dig into his past, study his behavior. Corinna, thumbs up. It is the best, isn't it? Cheryl, beautiful wife. Oh yeah, beautiful wife needs some attention. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Actually, no, never mind. My thoughts. I mean, you never know, JTube. Okay. Girlfriend was very strange on the stand. Oh, Linda, you saw the girlfriend's testimony. I also thought it was a little bit strange. Okay, let's do it real quick, I guess. Maybe. What do you think? Okay, we're going to do 15 more minutes. We're going to do 15 more minutes. Okay, Alicia is posting the Google Voice number. If you would like to call in and give your opinion on the case, Alicia is going to quickly post the Google Voice number. Feel free to call in. We're going to keep it very, very short, 2 to 3 minutes. We're not going to stream a whole lot longer, but feel free. Vicky, enjoy your day off with YV. Thanks for the stream. You helped me get through workday. Well, thank you so much, Vicky. Hopefully, you have a great weekend. Hopefully, you're off this weekend, Vicky. Hopefully, Friday is the last day of work for you, and you will be off for a couple days. So, thank you so much for the super chat, Vicky. Or Vic. Did I say Vicky? Victoria. I'm reading things just so quickly that I'm just assuming it said Vicky. Victoria. Thank you so much. The phone lines are open now if you'd like to call in. It's just a Google Voice number calling into the stream. You will be live on stream if you do want to call in. So I'll keep that open as we're kind of winding down the stream if anyone wants to call. Ty says, I believe the girlfriend is day 2. Gotta go, but great stream, Aaron. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for being here. Vic, yeah, it's fine. I'll call you Vic. Thank you so much. Why buy bleach? Is it because they are hiding something? Crypto, I don't know when you joined the stream. You might have to go back. The bleach was to clean up a very horrific mess. Cotton Farmer, yes, that's why the chats are good, so you can stop and chat. Yes, absolutely. Oh, why the ads are good, so you can stop and chat. Yeah, the ads are fine for that, but even if it was ad-free, I would still stop and chat every now and again. So let me pin the comment that Alicia put down below. If you do want to call, the number is 305-985-2690. Feel free to call in. Fem says that the girlfriend is a little sus. I should have done a poll if you guys think that the girlfriend knows more than what she said in her testimony. She was very sad, obviously, because she found out that her boyfriend is pretty much guaranteed a horrific killer. But yeah. Oh, it wasn't bleach. Dove says hydrogen peroxide. Thank you. Yes, hydrogen peroxide. Thank you. Corrections. Linda says some paused a lot with her answers. Really strange. She said she couldn't recall numerous times. Yeah, she did. You know what, Linda? She did pause a couple times. I can't remember what the question was specifically because I did watch hers. She paused for like what felt like half a minute to 45 seconds at one point. Andrea, thank you. He didn't use bleach, only peroxide. Thank you. Alex says, I wish I could call, but my kiddos are right next to me finishing up their homework. Oh, all good. Yeah, just open it up just in case anyone wants to. We're kind of winding down on the stream right now, but feel free if you have anything to say about the case. VC says, seems so sus. I'm sure the smell was like burned hair smell and probably much worse. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, such a terrible thing. To think about to think about the fireplace burning in the middle of July. Their fireplace was burning. Allison, thanks for the stream. Never heard this one. It was a doozy. Have a great day off. Here's a coffee for beautiful wife. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm going to get a coffee for beautiful wife, and I will remember to say that it was from Allison. I'm going to write it down. All right, I'm going to write it down. Thank you. Boom, got it. Screenshotted it. She's going to be like, what? Who's Allison? I'll be like, well, she bought you this coffee. Thank you so much. Also, apparently someone was trying to call in. Let me refresh the Google Voice number. It should be working. It should be working. So if you tried to call in and you want to try again, the number is pinned 305-985-2690. Feel free to call in. Let's see, Google Voice. Yeah, it's all on. Should be working. Chandler was so bad at disposing of the bodies. Yeah, Lantern. I completely agree with you. He wasn't just bad. It was terrible. And like putting stuff at properties that he's associated with. Like the farm where he like threw away the bloody rags. Like he knows those people. It's like he knows those people. Everything's going to come back to him at some point. It's like, what was he not? I don't know. What was he thinking? Also, if you're calling from, so are you trying to call from another? Oh, Sasha says, I don't think you can call from Canada. That's strange. I feel like I've gotten a call from someone from Australia. I want to say from Australia. Well, maybe the calls aren't working today. I'll have to look into that. Sorry about that. Sasha, definitely try a second time if you did try once already, because I did refresh everything, but maybe it's not working right now. I don't know if they changed their terms of service or what, but it usually, I think, allows people to call from just about anywhere, so I don't know. He left a knee bone in the fireplace, a patella to be exact. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I've definitely had calls from both the UK and Australia, so I don't know if Canada's different. I'm calling from Canada and it's not going through. Super weird. Are you calling from Austria, Corinna? I'm going to try calling it from my phone just to see if the number's working. Alex says you should be able to call with the right country suffix, USA, that's 1. Okay. Oh, we have a call. So it is working. Hold on.
Call from Raindrops.
Raindrops.
To accept, press 1.
We've
to
heard
send
from
a
Raindrops
voicemail,
before.
press 2.
Hey, Raindrops, how's it going?
Hey, it's good. I still have my cough. But I just want to let you know that the phones are working, so.
Yeah, I was just about to test it myself from my end. So, okay. Are you calling from the States?
Yeah, I'm in the U.S. I'm in Arizona.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, you're in Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
it just must not be working for other countries right now.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. But you know what? I was away from the keyboard and I was listening, but I didn't get to hear everything. And I'm sorry if I'm going to ask a question that was already covered.
All good.
How old is this Chandler guy?
23, yeah. So he's an adult. He's young, but yeah, 23.
And so from what I think I caught, he turned himself in?
No, he reported his parents missing. So he's obviously the one that's guilty of all this, that he will be found guilty at some point. He ended up calling his parent or calling them in as missing, probably to just make it seem like he's, on their side for wanting them to be found. It was shortly after, or close to a week after they had left for the 4th of July, because they left shortly before the 4th of July. He then calls them in missing later on after he had killed them and gotten rid of their bodies at that point. It's just a terrible story. I did link the full, I know you said you were kind of back and forth listening. We paused a lot and kind of chatted throughout the whole live stream today, but I did link below the video the actual just hour-long opening statement.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's cool.
Yeah, if you do want to get the full rundown of everything, it is pretty horrific to listen to, but they do such a good job with the details of everything. But yeah, the case is wild. But yeah, he's only 23.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, I appreciate it. I was able to sit on a lot of it, but
Oh, well, yeah,
I'm
thanks.
glad. I'm glad you cover what you do. I love you.
Oh, thanks so much. Thanks for calling. And thanks for confirming that the phones work for the U.S. at least right now, but it just must not be working beyond that. So thanks so much.
That's great.
And have a
Okay,
great
take
weekend.
care.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
Raindrops.
you too.
All right, bye. Aw, so sweet, so sweet. Okay, we're gonna end it. We're gonna end the stream. We're 2 hours and 15 minutes in. It's Friday. Alicia has been so kind to join us. She's obviously got her own thing that she's got going on as well. Things to get to. It's Friday afternoon. I hope you guys have a great weekend. If you are near family members, give them a hug. This story was a tough one. This is a tough one to get through. So give the people you love a little hug. Cotton Farmer says, spend the day with beautiful wife. I will definitely do that. When she gets home, I'm giving her a big hug. Angela says, I'll have to rewatch again later. Customers won't leave me alone. Angela, tell those customers to go somewhere else. I'm just kidding. Raindrops is so sweet. Yeah, Sandy, you are correct. Raindrops is very sweet. Thank you guys all for being here. Thank you to all the new members. Now, really quickly, part of being a tier 2 member is to get a shout out at the end of each video. So I'm still designing the page. I'm still designing like the page that I will go to. It's going to be like one of these predetermined screens, kind of like this. However, I want to verbally shout out the tier 2 supporters. Joyce, thank you so much for joining. Sasha, Angela, Andrea, Erica, and RS. Also from the last stream, we have Kate for Peace. I'm just going to say for Peace. Fem, Fatal. Thank you all for being a tier 2 supporter. And also all the tier 1 supporters as well. Everyone so amazing today. We had Allison joining as a tier 1, VC's, Sandy, Ray, EM, Jennifer, JTube, Corinna, Raindrops, Sanan. All of you are amazing. Thank you guys all for joining, being members of the channel. You guys all get shout outs, but there's going to be a specific like shout out screen with the names of the tier 2 supporters. That's just part of the tier 2 option. So that will be shown at the end of every stream moving forward. I'm still designing that page, but a little verbal shout out for today. So if you've just joined, please feel free to watch the stream over. I've also just linked down below the entire the video on its own if you just want to watch through that. Jen says, first time here, just subscribed. Thank you, Jen. We are getting close to 17,000, so we're on our way. So thank you guys for being here. Have a great day. Hit the like button on your way out, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.